Great. So I'm Beth Holloway. I'm Head of Learning Solutions. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Um, Today's session is part of joining the dots. So it brings together all the marketing, the knowledge material we've been sending you out, and it brings together a free learning webinar for you to enjoy and learn from. So this one is master time prioritization with a time priority grid. I'll just go through domestics while other people are joining us. So I want us to feel like we're all in one classroom. So it is an interactive session. Don't worry, nobody's going to be put on the spot. It's just really interactive. So you're not just sitting there listening. That's the worst kind of training, I would say. We don't do that at 9 Dots. We'll use some audio and the chat function. So on the right-hand side at the bottom of your screen, you should see a little speech bubble, and that's like an instant messaging chat. I'm sure most people are familiar these days with these kinds of tools. And you can always use the chat function. You just can do it to everyone or to somebody specifically. If you can go on mute whilst I'm speaking, if I do ask for any sort of speaking, I'll just come to you. So the way that you put on mute is just at the bottom of the screen. There's a microphone icon. You just click on that. It's going to be around 45 minutes. For the learning and a little bit around that. And you'll be making your own notes. I'll be giving you a link to our download for today, which you can use for in the session, and it's useful for you afterwards. I'll be probably writing on whiteboard, and we'll do something called a breakout session, but I will explain that a bit later. So really that allows you to go into smaller groups. Okay, so let's then make sure that you've got the material for it. So what I'm going to do is in the chat box, I'm just going to share with you a link. And if you click on that link, what it should do is opens up another window. It'll give you a warning to say you're going to an external website. That website is our website. So if you just click on that website, and then you're able to just click on the click for more info, and you'll be able to download the material. You might have to put some details in if you haven't already previously, but then you can download the material. So what you should be able to see in the chat box, everybody I can see has looked up and can see that. So just click on that link. It'll take you through to the website, and then you might be asked to download, put in some information. But then everyone can have that ready, that'd be great. If you've got any problems, just chat back, just say if you can't do it, we'll help sort out. So hopefully everyone's doing that. Good. I think there's some people that were on our last session, so welcome back if you were on our last session. Great to have you on this one. So hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to do that. If you just keep that open on another screen, you can flip in and out when we need to. So let's start then. So what is this short, sharp session going to learn, train you on today? So what you're going to learn is to define the overall purpose and key results area of your workload. So understanding what is the job that I'm there to do. Consider the value, immediacy, and amount of effort a task will take, and by doing that, what that does will allow you to organize your tasks more effectively. So essentially what we're giving you is a couple of really good tools to go away to be able to effectively prioritize your workload. Because I know I'm a busy person and everyone's busy at the moment. If you're in work at the moment, I absolutely can see that you're very busy because of COVID. So this is something that we all want to be able to do. So I know there's some real challenges around it. But one thing that I found in my experience, and I've got a HR and a leadership and a management background, is that what happens is we get into a job and we're giving a job description, and then by the time that we actually are doing the job, it changes, and I bet it has with COVID. So you've got this job description and suddenly you get taken from pillar to post. And so thing about managing time is being able to manage ourselves, our own behavioral patterns. that's something that we've got on our time prioritization full day workshop. There's something about your work processes, so how you process, how you prioritize your things. That's where we're taking this excerpt from around prioritization grid. And then there's other people that take your time, that steal your time from you. And we've got a webinar coming up in another couple of weeks on saying no. So that will be useful for you for that. So today's is about your work processes and prioritization. Sorry. So I was talking about, wasn't I, around the things that we get asked to do that maybe weren't originally part of our job description. So this is something that you can either write on your handout. If you've got it, you can just type it in, or just on a piece of paper. Just want you to, before we go into the details, just write 5 things that you have to do work-wise, 5 things that you've got over the next either sort of short-term week or maybe more longer, a month. So just 5 things. I'm not going to ask you to actually share them with me, so you can say whatever you need to on those. So just 5 things. So I'm just giving you a few moments to think through. Some people do that really quickly, others do it a bit slower, but that's okay. Excuse me, just having my morning coffee as well. Great. Well, you can be thinking about that. Put that to one side, and this is we're going to be using that as we go through the next section. So, purpose and 5 key areas. What do I mean by this? Well, there are your job description, but actually you get pulled from pillar to post. So the good thing that we need to do, and something that Stephen Covey said in his 7 habits of highly effective people, is start with the end in mind. Know what is your job? What is it that you're there to actually do? So it might be you're a manager of managers. It might be you're a manager of one person. It might be you're actually just a manager of yourself. So it's just thinking, actually take away all of the other stuff that's going on. What is it that I am supposed to be doing in my job? So, for example, if you look on the screen here, my purpose, I'm head of learning solutions. I'm here to design and deliver programs that provide the agreed benefits that our clients have asked us for. So we will make sure that I design and deliver programs to that. So that really helps me really focus on what is it I'm here to do. When I'm asked lots of other things, I know I've got to go back to that. So then I think, okay, I've got to categorize what are the things that I need to do to enable me to do that. Where are the 5 areas? Now I'm saying 5, I'm not saying any more than that, because if you've got a lot more than 5, you're being pulled in quite a lot of directions. If you've only got a couple, maybe they're quite big areas and you can reduce them down. But so I have to do some client consultation. So I'm there to consult with people, with the clients, find out what's their needs. I'm there to actually then go away, and research some things. So what's the current thinking around things? Actually design it. So pull things together, make PowerPoints, make all the material work really well, and actually, deliver it. So whether that's in face-to-face or virtual. And then there's always some administration around that, sort of if I'm actually face to face, that people have started to do that now, booking holidays, that'd be lovely, hotels, and doing, other administrative tasks. So they're the things in my world that really I have to focus on. So what I want you to do is try and on your own, just sit there and think, what's your overall purpose? So what it is that you're there to do. And take a minute to think through that. And then if you can, start writing some of your key areas. So I'm just going to give you about 3 minutes to do that. You know, after this, you've got plenty more time. But people often find they need some reflection time to understand what it is they really are there to do. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment. I'm staying on. I am still here, but I'm going to give you 3 minutes up to 1:45 to do that if you can. If you're not clear on what I'm asking you to do, just come off mute and ask me. It's great. I can see everyone thinking. That's good, or writing things down. Fantastic. Another couple of minutes for you to just think about your overall purpose. Start your key areas if you can. And just 1 more minute just to finish that off. Excellent, excellent. Well, you might still be having that going around in your mind, or you might be very clear. That's great. I know we've just got a few people just joined us a bit later. Welcome. And I've asked James to send you a link to the handout and just join into the next activities. That would be great. So, what I thought would be nice is I said it was interactive. To maybe hear a couple of people's you know. Thoughts on how they felt doing that, whether they found it easy, difficult, what they thought about it. So if you want to just share it, there's no pressure. I'm not going to choose anyone to do it, but it'd be great if we just heard somebody else's voice than mine. If you just want to come off mute, if you are willing to talk, you just press the microphone at the bottom, and then I'll just come to you and ask you to speak. Does anybody want to share how they found that. Not a scary bunch. You can talk freely. So just come off mute if you do want to. You should be able to just come. I'm not hearing anyone. I'm not seeing anyone coming off mute. Maybe some people are a bit hesitant here. That's okay, no problem. Why don't people just write in the chat box a few sort of lines around what you feel, how you found that. Was it easy? Was it difficult? That kind of thing. So remember, to everyone, and just write a few ideas around how you found that exercise.
I'm going to unmute because I'm one of these people who cannot stand silence.
Oh, lovely.
Seriously,
I knew if I waited long enough, Debbie. I think you were our last one, weren't you? Great.
I think I realised what my main purpose, when I listed it down, I'm the HR manager here, and it's sort of like, oh, to run an effective HR department that meets the needs of the company and the employees. Now, that sounds really easy. Actually, no, it's not. There are so many elements to that. And then I started putting areas of focus, and quite honestly, they could go on forever. But I think you can look at your main purpose and think, oh, that's really quite simplistic. Actually, no.
No, it's really, really difficult. Yeah.
So that's what I find. I think, yeah, my main purpose, I know exactly what it is, but what that is, how long's a piece of string, to be honest?
That's it. So it's about trying to distill it down into those distinct key areas. If you can do that, then that tells you automatically what things of value are, what you're there to do, what you're there to deliver. You can agree that with your manager, the director, whomever it might be, and just clarify, because often, like I'm saying, things change. So we just need to sometimes refocus. Also, it allows you to realize things are too big or you haven't got quite enough. So you can start thinking about, how do I change this? How do I do something different? Debbie, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for speaking. That's good. So if you just want to go back on mute, that'd be okay. So not too scary there, you can see. Okay, so we've got our 5 key areas, and what I've just mentioned there is it tells us what's important. So I have pre-written, oops, sorry, going one step ahead. I've pre-written my to-do list. So what I need to do sort of in the next month or so is design a sort of 7 modular program. So that's researching it all, doing all the notes for it, making sure that we've got materials for it. I need to observe a colleague to give them some feedback. I need to deliver a training session next week. I need to call back a client, and I need to book a hotel. So there's all things there which are an important part of my to-do list that I need to do. So on there there are 4 things which do link to my key result areas, and there's one that doesn't. Can you spot the one that doesn't? And what you can do is just type in the chat box which of those. It doesn't matter if you get it right or wrong. It's just a question. Can you guess which of those doesn't really fit into my my key result areas? So if I just go back to them, which one of those doesn't fit in? Julie, well done. That's fantastic. Yep. So observe my colleague. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not important. So observing a colleague, giving them feedback, letting them know how they're doing. I think that's a very important thing to do. But if I'm really busy, that is of less value than the things that I need to deliver. Does that make sense? So sometimes we have to make a call on what's really, really of value. And if we've got our key result areas, that's where we can go back to. Doesn't mean I can't do that. It might be that it's outside of it, but I'm still happy to do it. But that's the one area that I would be questioning if I've got this to-do list and I'm really pushed for time. So I've talked about value. So value, if we're defining that, and you've got this on your handout, value, if you're defining it, is about what's the value of that activity to my job, my overall job. There's also a hint in terms of what's it to the overall organisation, and there might be important people that come in and ask you to do things. That's fair, but really, what's it important to my job? Immediacy is about how quickly do I need to do this task? What's the deadline on it? Now, you've probably heard the urgent and important matrix by Stephen Covey. He made it famous, also Eisenhower. And they focus on that sort of important, urgent kind of approach. But what I don't think that really encapsulates, and what I like to add in, is the amount of effort that the task is going to take. So, you know, something can be of very great value. It can be really important to do, and it has to be done quickly. But actually, it's going to take a lot of effort. So, we've got to add in that as a factor. And what you come out with is a sort of ready reckoner for you around what you should do with your to-do list. So if something's of high value, it's got to be done quickly, and it's going to take a lot of effort. Surprisingly, it's not do now, it's negotiate, because it might be that you can't do it now because you don't have the resources for it. So if we look back at my example, designing this 7 modular program within a month, that's a lot to do. That's quite a lot to be able to do. So I might negotiate with a client that I do it just in time. So a month, then another month, then another month. So they get it over a period of time rather than all in at once. I might negotiate with them that it takes a little bit more money, but I can then ask other people to design it as well. So we've got several people doing it. Or I might negotiate and they might say, no, I need it now and I need it done in that time frame. Okay, if that's the case, then I need to then think about all the other things on my to-do list and maybe move them. If I can't negotiate, if I can't get things changed, the variables, then I need to think about the rest of my to-do list. If it's of value and it's immediate and it doesn't take too much effort, then they're the things that you can do now. So for example, on here, what I do is I've got a session, I've got a client call, which is really important. That's of huge value to the organization and to me, to my role. So calling back the client is the most important thing here. And it's of urgency, so I can do that now. Hopefully this is making sense to you. If you've got any questions as we're going through, either write them in the chat box or just come off mute and you can speak. If it's of value and there's a longer term time scale for it, and it's going to take a lot of effort, then I can plan this out and maybe delegate out. So if I've negotiated well on my my modular program, I can long-term plan it in over the 7 months that I need to do it. If it's of, it seems odd, if it's of no value, but sometimes you get these things where you don't feel they're of value, but they come in and they're going to take a bit of effort and they are immediate, then you might have to defer them. You might have to say, actually, I can't do it now. I just really can't. If you can't say I can't do it now, come on our Learning to Say No webinar, and I'll talk to you about how to do that. If it's of value, but it's not immediate, sorry, it should say, yeah, it's not right now, and it's not a lot of effort, then that's when I can short-term plan. So these are things that we've probably got already organized in our diary. So the training session that I've got to deliver next week, well, that's in my diary already. So they're the things that I would do next week. So I can short-term plan it. If it's not of value, it's immediate, and it's not going to take a lot of effort, I can just allocate that to somebody. So on my to-do list here, booking a hotel, what I'd probably do is ask one of my team, my administrative members, to help book that hotel for me, or do something very easy like go on hotels.com. So make it an easy and quick task. So that's what I do. If it's not of value, if it's not immediate and it's going to take a lot of effort, then I'd worry about why you're bothering to do it. So leave to last. And if it's got none of the three, then don't do it all. So so I hope that's making sense to people, and I hope that gives you a bit of a ready reckoner, a bit more than maybe you've had with if you've done the urgent important matrix, or it's just another tool in your toolbox. So what I'm going to do is split you into pairs, if you don't mind. And what we're going to do virtually is you go into what we call a breakout room with the other person, and I just want you to sit with them with your to-do list and just talk about how you can use the priority grid with your to-do list. If you've got anything confidential on there, don't share it, but it's just an opportunity for you to really put this priority to grid to practice, really. So you've got your to-do list, and it's great to go down your 5 points and then apply that criteria to them, so you've got an action from it. And I'd like you to do that with someone else, so you're getting a bit of interaction. So what I do is I'm going to split the whole of our group into all of the breakouts that's needed. I think, yeah, there we go. And it'll assign automatically, so it's just whomever that it puts you with. Just say hello to them, and just if you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself, but then go into the activity. I'll give you say about sort of 7 minutes for this, so it's not a lot of time, but it's a quick practice for you. When you come back, sometimes there's a little glitch in WebEx that it sort of you can't hear you. If that happens, then just go out of the session and come back on the link. So that shouldn't be a problem. So I'm just going to do that now. Now, if there's anybody who doesn't know what they're supposed to do, just let me know, and I can answer the question now. But I think it's pretty clear. Okay, so I'm going to put you into your breakout groups now, and I will bring you back at, shall we say, 11:05. All right, great.
Beth, would it be possible to just put the grid back on so we can see when we've answered value, immediacy, and effort what it means?
You can't see that when you go into the breakout room. That's the only thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you should have it in your workbook, your handout.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. So, James, I've not put you in one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have done it though, and yeah, it's interesting. Is this
good? We can. We'll you know, maybe you can join in the group on that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to keep checking that they're okay. So
sorry, you know when things go into breakout rooms, presumably they have just a private area, and then I'm not privy to this session, but they are to the next one.
No, they're not privy to it. I mean, we're still recording at the moment. So, yeah. But yeah, it goes into that private session there. So okay. I'm just going to join a few of them, just check they're doing okay.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. If you can't hear me, you can go in and out, but you won't know if you can't hear me. Yeah. So sorry, it was the countdown didn't work there, but hopefully you were just finishing and closing off your conversation. So what I'm interested to hear is what people thought of that. So Debbie kindly spoke earlier. Debbie can speak again if you'd like, but maybe is there anyone else that would like to just share their thoughts?
Yeah, my immediate thought was, when I was discussing with Evelina there, determining whether the value or the immediacy and the effort, whether that was yes or no, that was the key part to it. Because I did 2 or 3 of mine, and it was telling me to defer things. I'm thinking, nah, that's not going to work. If I defer that, I'll be in a whole world of pain. So clearly, I've either misdiagnosed it or assumed the wrong answer, or I'm not sure if I've that's my I'm obviously I'm not completely clear on all that, but clearly the value is not just a financial value. There's other values as well that you need to consider. That was my further thought on it.
Yeah, actually, it's really a good point. I'm pleased you thought about it there, because if it's coming up defer, that tells me that you've classed it as not of value to your role. So that tells me, and it's a lot of effort. So it suggests to me you can question, why are you doing that? Why is that? And I'm not asking you to tell me now, but question oneself around, why am I doing that if it's not of value to my role? Now, if it is a greater value certainly to the organization, then that might be part of your role. But in doing so, then what needs to give elsewhere would be my question. If you're run ragged, if you can't do everything you need to do, and you're very stressed about it. So that's what I think it highlights, is that question around, is it of value? And if it isn't, and it's taken a lot of effort, what then is is there a challenge back to check it is part of what you need to do? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's just got me thinking about it, really. And like you say, perhaps a slight pushback would be appropriate.
Yeah.
And really understanding the value to me and all the organisation. I mean, one of the things I was looking at was quite personal to me. I've taken it slightly out of context, but it's still important because it would impact my work in my role. So I can have a sort of quite a holistic view of all the things that I do, not just at work. So yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Andrew. Laura, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just, it strikes me that all of these things are open to interpretation. In terms of that immediacy, for instance, it's about, is that because it has to happen tomorrow, and who says it has to happen tomorrow? Is that someone else is putting pressure on you because of their agenda, or is it because you've scheduled a workshop which has been advertised, it's definitely happening tomorrow? Similarly, the effort, my perception of how much effort something's going to take might be based on my, me thinking, well, actually, I don't have the skill set for this. So whilst something might appear to be a great deal of effort, then perhaps I should be thinking about, delegating all of those because someone else has got a better skill set than me.
So what's great is that you're actually thinking about that. That's what it's creating. It's saying, have I got the skill set? So effort is about, have I got the resources, the skill set, the know-how to do this? And you're right about other people's agendas. And that's what the Learning to Say No webinar helps us with, because that's other people's taking your time. And sometimes it's right and other times it's not. So yeah, what's that? So I would always say, start off with what I think on this priority grid, and then go to think, okay, bigger picture, actually, is there something in the organization that I can do? So my example, observing a colleague, actually by giving that colleague the feedback, will that give something back later that would be a good use of my time? So it's just weighing that up.
Can I also ask, just at the bottom two, that if something is of no value, and it's not immediate, but it takes lots of effort.
Yeah.
Should that not be right at the bottom, like do not do?
You can leave it as do not do. It's just sometimes other people's pressures tell you to do it. So, you know, there might be something in the business, a part of a change program that takes a lot of effort. It may not be value to you, but it's bigger than you in the organization. So there might be something like that. So that's why we haven't sort of ruled it out. But if you can, rule them out. So that would be the thing. Look, fantastic, and thank you so much. I know the breakout sessions can be a bit funny sometimes. Apologies if you can't speak, and then we'll sort that out for the next time. But it's hopefully that quick session has really helped you just think about how you're using your time, if nothing else. This isn't you know, the golden bullet. It isn't the thing that's going to stop you from you know, having lots of things to do, but it is going to help you prioritize on the things you need to do, or at least think through that and start to challenge. So the Learning to Say No webinar helps with this, and that's the next one that's in our program. Are there any final questions before I just sort of close the session off at all? If there are, just come off mute. Great. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll point you in the direction of some of our free resources that we've created around this time prioritization. And we're also going to provide you with products and services. So after this, you'll get some information around that to help you sort of further your knowledge around it. And also, we're going to give you the opportunity maybe to have a 30-minute consultation with our top training experts who can advise you with whatever development plans that you personally have or for your teams. So our next webinar is on Thursday, 5th of August. We'll be learning to say no, protecting your time. And so if you've enjoyed today's webinar, please do sign up to the next one and, you know, share the link with your colleagues, your friends. And if you can put something on our LinkedIn page, it really helps spread the word for us. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for your time. And we've done it in time, so fantastic. Thank you, everyone. So all you need to do is just close the big red button, and it will let you out. We'll send you the recording. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Bev. Cheers.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Hope to see you again. Bye.
Bye, Debbie.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. See you
Bye.
again.
Bye-bye.
See you
Bye.
again.
Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah, see you in the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, we will, Regina.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later. Thanks, everyone.
Daniel,
Yeah, just big red button at the bottom. Thanks, Danielle. Okay.